Hey, I'm Kip from Kip Manual Productions. I'm here today with Alvin from Xeon Crane at the Met Expo 2019 in Sydney. Welcome.
Hey,
Hey.
thanks, Kip.
Now, we're talking about the Smooth 4, Weebill, and Crane 3 Lab. Now, let's start with our handheld mobile gimbal here. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, sure. So this is actually a smartphone gimbal. Unlike the other smartphone gimbal, this is actually made not only for like consumer users, even the professionals, they can actually use this because we have a lot of built-in functions, really cool functions in it that allows you to create really cool effects.
Okay.
Through your smartphones.
Yeah.
So
I noticed there's no screen either, which is good.
Yeah, the screen is going to be on the phone, so you're going to see what's going to be recording on the
Right.
phone. So just let me go through some of the functions here. So first of all, you can see very obvious there's a wheel over here. So this wheel is actually a dual function wheel, which allows you to do a focus.
Perfect.
So you can actually do a focus and an off focus with a press of a button. You can actually change it to zoom. So
Nice smooth zoom,
you can actually
guys.
zoom in and you can zoom out. So it's basically a dual function wheel here that allows you to do both the focus and the zoom at the same time. Okay, we have other functions here like the PF and the L, which stands for the pan follow and the lock mode.
Right.
So it has, these are the two basic modes on the gimbal. So what the pan follow mode does is basically, it's very good for taking subjects that are moving. So
Which
all you
we
need
usually
to
do.
Yeah, so all you need to do is basically just to turn the gimbal and the phone will actually turn with the gimbal.
Very
so it's
fluid
very
as
easy
well.
for you to actually to take subjects that are on the move, moving. So the other mode is actually the L mode, which is the lock mode. So when you are in the lock mode, basically it stays and lock in a position.
So maybe like a running subject, you're running behind them sort of thing?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then maybe the pan follow is when you're playing sports and stuff like that, it follows you around.
You're right.
Right,
You're right.
okay, cool.
So when you're in the lock mode, no matter where you turn, it's always locked in a position.
Now, does that go portrait as well as landscape as well?
It goes
that one
into
there?
portrait and landscape as well.
Perfect. So for everyone that does all your live streams and Instagram stories and everything like that, probably a good idea.
You can just easily turn this into portrait mode by loosening a screw behind.
Yep.
So you can just loosen the screw and you can just easily turn it into a portrait mode.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's just basically our starting model we've got. For everyone that has a smartphone that sort of wants a more professional style video, or has people that are playing sports, or you just want to have fun really pretty much everywhere. It's small, it's compact, and it's pretty much, I call it the manual gimbal because you turn a button on and it starts rolling. Now let's step it up to someone that's maybe getting a small mirrorless camera or small DSLR. It's probably a good idea to get a good stabilizer as well. So let's talk about the Weebill Lab that we've got here.
Okay, so this is actually one of our most highly demand gimbal in the market right now. So just to let you know, Weebill is basically a name of the smallest Australian bird.
Great name.
This is just to share with you the name of the Weebill. All right. So traditionally on a gimbal, handle is always made this way. So it's always you hold the gimbal in this position. So when you want to do like low angle shoot, it's really difficult because you have to do a lot of big body movements.
Definitely.
And that might affect the stability of your gimbal
Correct.
or the camera. So we have designed it in such a way whereby you can actually remove this mini tripod here on the handle, and you can actually attach this over here like this.
Now, obviously, instead of on screen, is there another way of moving the handle from bottom to top as well?
We actually have a quick release system, which allows you to quickly remove the tripod and put it up here.
Right.
So we have different accessories for the Weebill.
Yeah. So that's probably a good idea, especially if you are going from the
traditional
top
way of
mode
holding way
down to a low shot coming up. So holding it obviously.
So when
on
you're
the
holding
top,
it this, you can easily do a low
it's
angle
not like a
shoot
small briefcase.
all the way up to like a jib shot, a fake
Yeah.
jib shot. So in one frame, you can actually take a low angle shot all the way up to a fake jib shot. So this is the design of this handle over here.
Okay.
Yep. So it's pretty cool. we are actually the pioneer who came up with this design. Yeah. And we actually have also like locking.
I saw there's also a lock
mechanism.
on here, so obviously that's not going to come out as
Yeah,
well.
so there is a lock here, so
Yeah.
you can actually lock it. So once you locked it, you cannot actually remove it. Yep,
Yeah, perfect. So yeah.
yep. So
Now I saw that obviously you're talking about just the locks just then.
Yeah.
I think transporting a gimbal is one of the pet hates I always say. There's so many motors and stuff that to align it's very simple, but it's nice when you are moving around to have a lock. Now I can see 3 locks on here.
Yep, so there are 3 locks on all the 3 axes.
Yep.
So when you're not using it, you can actually lock it so it doesn't like go all over the place.
All over, yeah.
Yep, and it's actually easy for you to balance your gimbal with
Yeah.
the locks because you can actually just balance each angle at one time. So you don't have to have the trouble of all the axes moving all over the place while trying to balance it.
Right.
Yeah, and there's one thing here that I really want to share with you is, traditionally on the plate, the mounting plate of the camera,
Yeah.
it's usually just one Manfrotto, like the
Correct.
standard Manfrotto
Yeah.
plate on it.
And every
But-
single time you have to keep rebalancing as soon as you
Exactly.
take it off. Most people will want to take a video and then straight after it's like, oh, I want to quickly get a photo as well. And then to rebalance it, it's going to be a pain. So pretty crazy design here, but how do we just take that off?
Okay, so normally when you remove the camera,
Yeah.
for example, you want to change your batteries or you want to take a picture, if you want to put it back on the gimbal, you have to rebalance it again.
Yes.
But on this plate itself, we not only have just the Manfrotto plate,
Yeah.
we have an additional Arca Swiss plate, which a quick release plate, which allows you to easily remove the camera without having to remove the Manfrotto plate.
Okay.
So when you actually put the camera back on the gimbal, it's
right
already, and you just screw it in and it's already balanced. So you don't have to waste time to rebalance it again.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
So,
so it's pretty cool.
Obviously, a quick few functions down below here. We've got our power. We've got, as we were just talking about, the
pan
pan
follow,
follow and the lock.
lock mode.
So we've already gone through that one there. Now the go button, what's that going to be doing?
Okay, so the go button is actually like pretty much a sports mode.
Okay.
So it allows you to do a really quick pan.
It's basically a quick pan follow mode,
Yeah.
basically.
So if you were to press on the go button, you can actually do really fast panning. So this is very good when you are taking maybe like a football player running, tracing after the football,
Yeah.
or maybe you could be taking like an airplane that is flying across the sky.
Yeah.
So you need to have really quick movement, swift movement. So this is where you can actually use the go function to quickly do a fast pan.
Okay. Now, lastly, we're going to be looking at, let's say,
Green
a professional sort of style one. So people that basically have a big DSLR or starting into the smaller film cameras, we've got the Crane Lab.
The
Now,
Crane
we
Tree
are
Lab.
at the moment using a Canon R at the moment, which can actually be put onto one of these. While our smaller on our Weebill, some of your Sony cameras, your mirrorless ones, you'll be using that guy there.
Yeah, one thing I left out was the payload for the Weebill is
Yeah.
actually 3 kilograms.
Yeah.
And the payload for the Crane Tree Lab is 4.5 kilograms.
Right,
4.5
okay.
kilograms. So it takes like heavier setup like DSLRs, like all the way up to like a Canon 5D Mark IV with a 24-70 lens.
Yeah.
Easily, not a problem. Yeah. So as you can see here, the design is pretty much similar to the Weebill Lab. We have this handle here, which also allows you to actually take really easily take low angle shoots.
Now, what's the weight of that at the moment?
Okay, the weight of the gimbal itself is 1.7 kilo.
Wow.
Yep. So it's actually not that heavy.
No.
So it's still manageable.
Definitely.
So similarly to the Weebill Lab, it has a lock mechanism on all the 3 axes
Yeah.
to allow you to do an easier setup and as well as to keep it upright. And we actually have 2 servos on the Crane Tree Lab.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we don't have it here, but we have actually 2 servos, which
So
allows
for-
you to control like the focus and the zoom ring.
Right. So yeah, obviously compared to what we've got here, we've got one servo here, correct? So you can only control, as Alvin
Only the
was saying,
focus.
just the focus. You can't control the zoom then?
No, not on the Weebill.
Not the Weebill. But again, when you go to more professional cameras, it's nice that you can control a focus pull as well as the zoom as well. Now this deal here, we've only got the handle on
Yeah.
the bottom. Obviously, we can take that off, I'm guessing too.
Yeah, we can actually take this off.
Yeah.
So
And we don't need to put it up there because there's already a handle there, which
yeah,
is good.
so we can actually remove this. We could mount this on like a monopod or
Yeah.
a tripod. So there is some accessories for the Crane Tree Lab. Like we have a utility belt and a special monopod.
Okay.
So what it does is when you put on the utility belt, you can actually put the monopod and you can actually mount the monopod on the belt itself. So basically you are actually letting the belt take the weight of the gimbal. So all you need to do is you can easily just use one hand to control the gimbal without having to worry to take the weight of the
Okay.
gimbal. Yeah,
Yeah.
because if you're gonna have like a big setup, like a 5D Mark IV setup on this, it's gonna weigh a little bit.
It is, yeah.
So yeah, so we have some accessories that actually helps you to have a better experience shooting with the gimbal.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up. Obviously, you can check out their website to see a bit more information
Yeah.
on some of the more professional style gimbals here. But I think what we've seen today is pretty cool. Seeing the locking mechanism, dual servos in the Crane Lab, as well as the baby version when you're starting out into motorized and stabilized gimbal systems. Thank you, Alvin, for being here today with me.
Thank you so much,
And
Kip.
enjoy the rest of the Met Expo.
Thank you, Kip.
See you guys.